Okay. Sorry, you've got me eating. Oh, it's recording now. Yay. So, sorry, I'm a bit late getting up this morning because we went to a massive Thanksgiving party, which we've never done before. And I had too much to drink, so I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hungover. But anyway, welcome to Sagittarius season. It's always been party season for me because it's my birthday. It's coming up. But anyway, hi Rose. Hello. You're funny. I am here. Makes me laugh when you say that on my things, on my live streams too. But I was just saying I had a little too much wine last night at the party we were at. So if I look a little bit puffy and stuff, that's why. But anyway, I look great. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy you're here too. So I thought I was going to be speaking to nobody, and then you and Jenna came on. So yay! But anyway, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. Well, of course, I love Sagittarius season because I'm Sagittarius, and so Sagittarius they're the seekers of truth. Okay, and experience driven. And belief and faith is their real kind of MO, if you like. Spiritually and philosophically oriented. I could tell you loads about Sagittarius. I mean, I studied at college. I studied American Studies with study of religion as my minor, which is so Sagittarius, because of studying different cultures and philosophies and ethics and things. I could not be more Sagittarius, to be honest. There's things I studied. Sagittarius is freedom-loving, very optimistic, very independent, inspirational, visionary, future-oriented, and sees the big picture and loves the outdoors and exploration. And the shadow of Sagittarius is that they can be naive, have blind faith. That's certainly true too. Overextension of all kinds, overdoing, denial of practical realities. I'm accused of that all the time. And can be dogmatic and moralistic as well. But they just really is the evolutionary path of Sagittarius energy, wherever it is in your chart, is that of questing. It's kind of the vision quester, really. And it's ruled by Jupiter. It's a fire sign and a mutable sign. Okay, so it's so pick images of what Sagittarius is. It's kind of the prophet, the sage, Santa Claus, the world traveler, fairy godmother, all that kind of stuff. So Sagittarius I just love, of course. So I was going to tell you something else about it. Sorry, fog brain. My aim for 2018 is to get a calendar of holidays and actually put them on my Google Calendar so that I don't book a ton of calls on holiday weekend, because I have this one, I have a reading, and I have another call as well. So it's kind of quite funny, really. I seem to do this every holiday. I think I'm quite lucky that nobody out of the US booked a reading yesterday. So anyway, I'm thinking what else I want to tell you about Sagittarius. They're very enthusiastic. I mean, I have Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Sun, and I discovered my rising sign in Sagittarius. So if you think of Sagittarius, think of me. And Leo's more creative, really. The kind of Sagittarius more enterprising kind of thing, you know. They like things like archery and stuff like that. The centaur, the half man, half horse with a bow and arrow is Sagittarius. And you know, they love to travel. They're the sign of higher learning, of law, of reporting. Grab a bit more bacon. Anything foreign. So is it surprising that I've lived in 3 continents and 4 countries? More than, actually. 1, 2, 5 countries. And it's the big sign of big things. Books as well. Books, piles of books everywhere. Books, books, books. Yeah, I think that's the basics of everything I want to tell you. So colours for Sagittarius, so we could talk about blue, royal blue and purple, my favourite colours. I'm just like Miss Sagittarius, really. So you just have to think of me. It's kind of funny, really. Everything you read about it, I'm like I've either done, or it's my interests, or it's my traits. So, you know, even when I was dating, I would always be attracted to guys from other countries and cultures. And my husband is actually Scottish and I'm English. And that's kind of a different thing. So it's just me, really. I think if there's anything else I want to tell you about it. Sagittarius often have, kind of, they have hip injuries, hip problems, thighs, hips, sciatic, that kind of thing. And I have that too. My one kind of twingy thing is my hip. So keywords I perceive are the 2 words really for Sagittarius. Okay. Because they're just they're just always looking into things and seeing the bigger picture and thinking big and expansion. Okay, that's very Sagittarius. So I want to kind of have a look at the month ahead. So where is that page? Here it is. I'll get it up. I think it was actually. I'll have a look again when we look at your chart, because I've had a lot of readings lately, so they're getting them mixed up. Is there a male version of me? There must be. There must be one out there. That's funny. Okay, so during this Sagittarius season, though, we do have some big aspects happening. And so I just want to give you a general overview of some of the bigger aspects in the coming month. Okay, so we have, excuse me for eating, but I'm hungry. We have Mercury and Saturn right on the galactic center. Now, and it's all on my rising sign, on my ascendant as well. Now, the galactic center is at 27 degrees and 2 minutes of Sagittarius now. It does move very slowly. It's like a bit like moves a degree every couple of thousand years or something. But anyway, the galactic center is also really Sagittarius, if you like, because it's this big black hole at the center of our Milky Way that doesn't just suck things in, it actually really emits, it kind of sucks in stale energy and emits all this new upgrade knowledge into our galaxy, our universe. And with Saturn on it, we are now being asked to master something, some very big themes as a universe, as a global phenomenon. And with Mercury coming up to it as well. And Mercury is pretty much going to station retrograde on the galactic center at 20, but it's going to station retrograde at 29. Really, you can expect during this Sagittarius season some really big awakenings and insights. It's going to happen to us as a collective, but I think it's going to happen to us as individuals, especially if you have something around that degree, which I do. And I'll look at everybody's charts, and I will look at that degree. Yeah, it's trining the eclipse degree as well. It's kind of really kind of huge. Okay, all this. Of course, the galactic center is always trining the eclipse degree, but with Saturn crossing it again and Mercury stationing retrograde at the same time, it's really kind of massive. And it's all kind of it's also it's trining Uranus in Aries too. And back in 1988, at the end of 1988, when Saturn was last on the galactic center degree, Uranus was actually conjunct and on it at the same time. So because those two are in aspect now, 29 years later, there's going to be something harking back to that time. Now, for some of you, Jenna, you would be too young really for it to probably have had any personal. Which time? Oh, 1988, like I said. Yeah. The end of 1988. Yeah. It's kind of, I think, so I'm actually going to go and look at the history, and I'll share it in the group when I do, of kind of what was happening politically. But I do know that, around and after that time, because it kind of ran into 1989 a bit too, I do know that Berlin Wall came down, and Nelson Mandela was released from prison, because I know exactly where I was at that time, because it was heading into my first Saturn return and all that. So I have very vivid memories. It was a very transformative period for me. And I think this period is going to be the same. And I kind of have a little bit of trepidation about it. I shared in my post on my page yesterday, because it was so major, the changes. And I'm quite happy with my life now. So but I guess, but anyway. So, look back at the news back then. Look at what was happening perhaps in your families and in your own life. If you're old enough to remember what changes were going. And something with Mercury stationing there as well, I kind of think there's going to be some revisiting again from something right from back then, in some way, because Mercury stations retrograde on December the 3rd. So this is all ongoing of the next weeks. Then we also have another huge aspect in a week's time, so before December the 3rd, and that's Mars in Libra opposing that Uranus. So Uranus is being triggered quite a bit, and he's retrograde, and he is slowing down to turn direct on January the 2nd. So there's a lot of kind of it's kind of a triggering of memories, and I have a feeling something really big is going to come politically over the next month. I have no idea what. So don't ask me what. I don't go and look at the politicians' charts and things. It just doesn't really interest me that much. But I would say the key dates are a week today, which is the 24th. So yes, the 1st December the 1st, I guess that is. That's a pretty key date. Because we also have Venus moving into Sagittarius then. Then December the 3rd as well, when Mercury turns retrograde. Right now, of course, with with all this. And then we're going to have Chiron turning direct in a week and a half too, at 24 degrees of Pisces. So he's kind of a bit involved in all this stuff aspecting the galactic center. So any planets, placements and things from about 24 to 29 degrees of any sign, but especially fire signs and mutable signs will be majorly affected. So mutable signs are my fuzz brain today: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay. And we're going to have a lot of sign changes. We've got Venus moving into Sagittarius, so that our kind of love life and things will kind of lighten up a little bit and get more playful, just in time for party time for Christmas and holidays. And then Mars will move into Scorpio, though, in 2 weeks' time, and that kind of has the opposite effect. It kind of is going to cut deeper, and I think there's going to be more of the Me Too revelations when Mars dives into Scorpio, and ones that will kind of really cut to the heart of things. I don't know if anybody's seen my morning post today that I did. I wrote about something I saw on the BBC News site about Uma Thurman making this Instagram post where she says she's got something she wants to say about Harvey Weinstein, and she won't say it till she's ready because she doesn't like to speak from anger and she wants to calm down a little bit. And but she's basically saying, I'm coming for you, Harvey Weinstein, and all your enablers, or something like that. So I think there's going to be something pretty major coming. And then what else do we have before I dive into your charts? We kind of have the exacts of Mercury trining Uranus, but this is kind of a thing that's going on all month long. Okay. And then in 2.5 weeks time, probably going to have to go forward, we have the sweet spot in the middle of the Mercury retrograde. One of my animals is trying to get in. They can stop it. I'm not going to let them in. So I'm going to give you the exact date for that. So it's actually December the 12th. It's getting the degrees more. No, it might go into December. No, December the 13th. That's when Mercury, well, late on December the 12th and early on December the 13th. That's when Mercury and the Sun meet in Sagittarius, exactly. And that's always called, well, a friend of mine told me she called it the sweet spot. It's actually, the official name is Kazemi. I like the sweet spot because it's the time where if there's anything, major decisions and things like that, December the 12th is kind of a day to really get mental clarity and focus amidst the kind of confusion of Mercury retrograde. As always, though, I always say Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing. I do not buy that. It's just a time of review, reflection, and old people turning up, old friends turning up in your life quite often as well. And so we've got these bigger pictures of going back to 1988, 89, and then just general reviewing, reflecting as well. Then another big thing we have happening is Saturn going into Capricorn on what date? Just look. He goes into Capricorn on December the 21st, on the winter solstice. And that is pretty major too, because Saturn is moving into the sign that he rules for the first time in 29 years. So going back to that 29 years ago again. But not only does he go into the sign on that day, that is the solstice. So it's the day that the sun moves into Capricorn too. So we're going to get this huge whoosh of Capricornian energy on December the 21st. So where are we now? I might try and actually do our next call for the Capricorn season as close to that as possible, because that's really kind of a big major shift as well. Kind of finishing up the time that we're looking at for this call. Capricorn season this year is going to be major, of course, and it's our institutions and our governments and like Hollywood as well. And, you know, all this energy and the changing and things, with Capricorn kind of being about our institutions, there's going to be a big focus on it for the next couple of years or so. He'll be actually in Capricorn until 2020, the end of 2020. So yeah, so it's kind of, he moves into Aquarius, I think, in December 2020, looking at this. So we're going to have this energy of kind of rebuilding, if you like, and perhaps a bit more of a return to conservatism. It could be in a good sense and it could be not in a good sense. I don't think it's going to be social conservatism. I don't think there's that kind of energy, but more harking back to some traditional values and things, I hope. I hope it's not the heavy energy of Capricorn that we're going to get. But if you look back to that 1988, 89 thing, then, you know, Mandela started ruling, and, you know, he got elected in South Africa after that. And governments did shift and change. And Germany, of course, shifted and changed hugely because of the Berlin Wall coming down. So it's got all that kind of energy again. And I think it's going to affect the USA a lot because of what we have going on here. But it's not only going to be the USA. But because of that eclipse and the degree constantly being triggered by like this galactic center Saturn thing, and more things coming up, it's going to bring a lot of change here in our governments. So let's go to our charts. Anybody have any other questions? Trying to find the best way of getting to your charts now. Nope. Cool. I'm going to do you guys first because you're here. That's the advantage of being on. So I'm just opening Jenna's chart. You just want to thrive and not survive. Well, I think it's actually really, I think there's kind of a lot of thriving energy, personally. You know, I think a lot of people will be really kind of, you got your keys. Awesome. Fabulous. That's so exciting. When are you actually moving your stuff in? Oh, just fabulous. So happy for you, Jenna. It just feels so right. Yeah, starting tonight. Yeah, a few things in. And you're going to sleep there on Sunday, yeah? Yes. Awesome. Oh, my computer's just decided to do a wheel thing. Right. Let me get to screen sharing. Oh, when you said moving out, I was like, what? You're selling that house? No, your folks. Yeah. That's a good ending. It's good to get that phase of your life done, I think. And talking of, yeah, new beginnings. I love new beginnings, but I would because I'm Sagittarius, so I'm really excited for you. But I'm so excited for you too, Rose, because that's a real kind of milestone, kind of finishing up the folks' house and things. And speaking of that, does anybody hear about Swedish death cleaning? You should look it up. It's especially for people kind of getting to my age, start to look at things and think, do we really want my kids to be burdened with all this shit when we die? And start thinking about things. Oh, really? That's funny. I can't remember the principle of it. I'm going to go and read about it a bit more because I think I'm going to start my Swedish death cleaning and start clearing out stuff that I don't really want to have my kids burdened with. I know, I hope I'm years from, but just, you know, thinking of it in terms of, do I want that to be left for my kids? And thinking, well, no, they don't need this shit. Or maybe starting to ask them even if they want it. Because, it's really hard for kids when parents die and they have to go through all this stuff that they've hoarded all their lives, So anyway, exactly. So go and look up Swedish death cleaning. Nothing to do with the astrology, but hey, who cares? So, Jenna, let's look at your chart. Okay. I just want to... so, of course, all this Saturn, Mercury, galactic center stuff is opposing your Chiron almost exactly, and I would say pretty conjunct to your Uranus in your fifth house. So how appropriate that kind of on this energy you are moving into a new phase of life that I think is going to be really healing. You're learning to speak up for yourself, not just with your ex, but generally in life, and finding your voice and saying what you need. I love that, the problem that came up with the kids' schools, that you found a solution for that. And there will open up a space for your kids in that school. I know it, in the local school. You probably might just have to wait till the next school year and get them in then. But it's a very healing shift for you, and kind of stepping, because it's Saturn as well on the galactic center. It's kind of you starting to step into really your own authority, and I know you feel this already, but the kind of chart is really confirming all that stuff for you. And so let's look at what else you have going around. And of course, you've got your Jupiter at 24 degrees of Aries right there at the top of your chart. And all this is aspecting that as well. And Uranus is exactly, is it going to station? In fact, let me just look up exactly where Uranus is going to station direct for you, Jenna. I want to know, because I think it's going to bring significant changes for you in terms of kind of stepping into building up your career, what you want to do, your business. All that stuff. I can hear my dog. He's sitting at the door of my office in the hallway, kind of grumbling because he's not in. That's all right though. I don't want him in because I don't want the door open. But okay, so January the 2nd, Uranus stations direct at 24 degrees and 34 minutes. Wow, you cannot get closer than that, really. It's like 8 solar arc minutes away from where your Jupiter is. And of course, Jupiter is huge expansion, and Uranus is kind of an awakening, and the station is really powerful. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead into January, but because it's being triggered now by this galactic center stuff, it's all quite significant. So big positive changes for you. And of course, you know, all this is aspecting your ascendant too at 29 degrees Leo. You've got this big lot of fire stuff going on with a bit of the Chiron in Gemini, kind of getting your voice really fired up and speaking up for yourself. And I think you're going to get some major. Yeah, of course. Yeah, posing your sun too. Yes, you're being hit big time, but in a really good way. I think this is all like really exciting and really expansive and really healing, um, and real growth for you. Because Saturn really, you know, I use the word mastery, but it's also really growing up. Is a huge part of Saturn. Saturn transits. It's grow up, even if you don't really kind of want to, kind of. So just no, I know, but it's great, isn't it? Yay! You're really kind of growing up, you know, in a very good way. So yeah, so I don't think I have anything more to say about yours. It's just a huge time for you. So in a very good way. Okay, Rosie Rose. Oh, you're welcome. It's a huge pleasure. Of course. Oh, I've got your chart without. That's fine. We'll look at this. So let's look at where this is for you. So it's right on the cusp of your 7th house. Okay. Yeah. Go and play with the kids. Thank you for being here. Bye. Okay. So Rose, for you, right on the cusp of all this Saturn, galactic center stuff, mid Mercury, is so close to the cusp of your 7th house. It could be a new relationship, or it could be kind of new awarenesses around what you want. And yes, you were right. Sagittarius energy is, and I always say Sagittarius energy. So it doesn't mean you have to, you know, pick somebody that's a Sagittarius. It could be somebody who's Sagittarius rising, but it's that kind of energy that that you need really in a relationship, Rose. And with all this kind of aspecting that cusp of your 7th house, what I'm really kind of getting from this is a feeling of new awarenesses of what you need, and perhaps a surprise coming your way, because of course we've just looked at where Uranus will station at 24 degrees of, and what was it, 24 degrees and 34 minutes of Aries. That is almost exactly aspecting the cusp of your 7th house on January the 2nd. And so not only a reversal of direction, Uranus is expect the unexpected, it's surprises, it's sudden awarenesses and awakenings. So I think the fact it's aspecting that point is really important. But of course you can't separate it from the fact it's all aspecting your ascendant as well. So that means you changing as well. So I think you're going to get some kind of growing up in the area of relationships. quite honestly. So I think that's all I have to say about that. Yeah. You need to go through to New Year, what, without dating or something? Or yeah. Oh yeah, they are shifting with all this stuff on the Galactic Center. The Galactic Center is really kind of important if it affects a part of your chart. And yeah, something coming January. Well, I think something is, especially when Uranus changes direction. It's not, when these slower moving planets change direction, it's always important, but especially if it's affecting an area of your chart, and this is for you. So yeah, pretty big. Don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about for you. It's right now the Sagittarius energy, the sun. Of course, we've just gone into it, so it's there's a lot around your work. It's, a lot of focus around your daily work and things. So that's just kind of where your attention is. Oh dear, maybe you need to just start looking for another one. This was right to kind of get you back into the workforce. But I've always said, and I don't know where I heard it, somewhere as a kid, that it's easier to find a new job that's right whilst you're in a job. It's harder when you're out of work like you were before. So I think now, because you're the only one on, giving it 6 months, yeah. But you never know. All this Uranus stuff happening and affecting your chart, and up there in the house of kind of organizations and groups. Who knows, maybe you'll get headhunted or something. Because, my husband just started this new job. Well, now it's like 2 months in now. That came out of the blue. They found him on LinkedIn and headhunted him basically because so he wasn't really looking. He just was making sure everything was up to date on LinkedIn and stuff. And they contacted him through LinkedIn, and it's kind of his dream job, if you like. He's loving it. So you say you're giving it 6 months, but who knows? The universe might have other ideas, is what I'm saying. It might surprise you. So we'll see. I think yeah. Yeah, I kind of got that feeling from you when you were talking about it. So yeah, just kind of remain open to possibilities and things, and there you go. So we're 42 minutes in. I think I might do the journey now, because I'd like everybody to journey to Jupiter, the ruling planet of Sagittarius and of expansion, and just go, the usual, ask Jupiter questions, say, what do I need to know? What possibilities do I, or how can I word this? Ask a few questions. Ask what's one thing that I can do right now to expand possibilities in my life. That's a good one. Just ask really open questions in the journey in the upper world to Jupiter, and just see what he has to say. My favorite planet, my ruling planet. I love him. Anyway, I kind of make myself laugh actually about Sagittarius, because I love him so. Love it all. But I'm going to do a 15-minute one, I think. Yeah, so do the journey to it. Obviously, you'll learn more in the class as well. But okay, well, yeah, I'm just going to do a 15-minute one to Jupiter. I'll be here afterwards if you want to talk about yours, and then I'll quickly do everybody else's readings as a recording at the end, so you don't have to hang around for them unless you want to. Okay, so I'm going to get the journey going now if you are ready. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, sorry if I kind of coughed halfway through and things, and I had to hold back sneezes. What's going on? Like choking while you were journeying. So, but anyway, how was that? Put my video back on. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. It's up to you. Sweet, yeah. Jupiter's just so positive. It's like, yeah, it's not like one of the kind of teary. Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear what it was. I feel like I'm talking to myself all the time sometimes on the calls. So, yeah, let's unmute you. You're
Hello.
Hello.
It's you. Hi. That was so interesting. I went to Sagittarius, and when I got there, he he was swirling around. And have you seen? Is it F. Scott Fitzgerald, A Christmas Carol, the one where it's kind of an older version of A Christmas Carol, and it has
Don't think so.
Anyway, Christmas present in that movie, because we love A Christmas Carol
Uh-huh.
in my family. And there's this one version, I think it's F. Scott Fitzgerald, that's it's that version of that actor. Anyway, Christmas present in that movie is exactly how Sagittarius showed up in my vision,
Oh.
with this very jolly, happy, just swirly and just everywhere. And he was just like, come in and sit with me and talk with me. And he was just like, he had me sit on this big couch with him, and he was like, no, because I kind of sat a little ways from him. He was like, no, come and sit with me. Let me hug you and cuddle you and tell you how wonderful you are. And,
Oh.
and he was just like, he said, I know that, he's like, I know that you feel like you're diminishing from the things that you learned during Venus retrograde, and you're struggling to go back into a workforce and all these things. And he's like, but he's like, you've learned so much, and I want so much for you not to let those things go away.
Mm.
And so he was teaching me about, because I've been trying to figure out how to create a bubble around myself so that the energy of other people doesn't diminish what I've been learning. And he said, actually, the thing is that you actually carry the bubble within you. It's your joy. Your joy is what keeps other people's darkness at bay.
Mm.
But you need to learn to actually have it come from within you, not from without you. Like, let your joy actually be the thing that protects you. And
Yeah.
that's what actually, other people can bounce into that all they want, but it won't diminish who you are, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so he was just, and he was adorable. He was just like big and cheery and these rosy cheeks. He looked like Saint Nick. Like, he had that Saint Nick kind of a feel.
Yeah. Oh, I can picture him in my face. Yeah. Yeah.
He was just super sweet and kind and just so loving. And I was like, gosh, you remind me of my dad. And he was like, I know, your dad was a crazy character. And he's like, I mean, clearly he's not my dad, but he was
No.
just like, I know,
That kind of energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of energy. But then as we were talking, and he was kind of teaching me and sharing with me information about joy and how you use that to protect yourself and keep yourself. Because I was asking, well, I need to know how I expand. And he just smiled at me, and suddenly my mom appeared. And yeah, anyways, she taught me a bunch of things too, and it was so sweet. And I was just like, she was like, I know that you're really struggling. And she's like, but I need you to know how much I'm here and trying to be a part of your life, but I know you're hurting.
Oh.
Anyway, so she gave me some wonderful knowledge and even some things that I've been thinking about for Josh and my niece and my family. And at the end, they both just said, I know you're looking for expansion, but the way that you expand and the reason that you expand is because you have so much love and joy.
Mm.
And you have to learn to not let that go.
Yeah.
And let that be the thing that expands, because that's what actually will get you to where you want to go and the places that you're about to find, because there's so many things that are coming. You've got to allow your joy to continue to expand and increase.
That makes sense. That's amazing. Yeah, it's bringing tears to my eyes too. But tears of kind of excitement, kind of like possibility, yay! So yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to do the journey myself. I never do it now while the calls are on, because of the one time where nobody could hear anything I was doing. So I always try and stay present for it now. But so, I definitely need to journey to my ruling planet. That's for sure. So
well, he was so sweet. He was like, and he said, anytime that you need to have your bucket filled, this is the place that you come.
Yeah. Oh,
so I
that's
was pretty excited.
Yeah. So do that. Remind yourself, a little note somewhere or something. Remind yourself. Journey to Jupiter or Sagittarius, whichever. Whenever I'm sitting down. Yeah.
And I need a bucket refill. Yeah. Exactly. That's good.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to mute you again, but thank you for sharing. That was it's always great for me to have somebody on the call who actually does it. I don't mind, that people can't come live, but it's nice to have some interaction,
Yeah, no, I love it. So, and I'm so glad I was able to be here. I'm like, yes, I'm on a call.
So I'll mute you, and I'm going to just whiz through everybody else's charts pretty quickly. So it's up to you if you want to listen or not.
Okay, thank you.
So,
I'm going to stay for a part, and then I got to ditch out, but I want to stay for a bit and learn. So.
all right. Okay. Okay. So sharing screen. Here we go. Okay. So I'm just going to go in order of the group member list. So, and Yasmin, I'm just going to do you really quickly because we have a one-on-one session later today. So I'm not going to kind of go crazy on it, but I want to just look where this, look where Sagittarius is. And okay, so 24 to 29 Sagittarius, you don't really have anything exact there. It's aspecting your Sedna, which I don't think is huge, but it is aspecting your Uranus. So Uranus seems to be coming up a lot for this because he'll be over here. So kind of forming this fiery grand trine for you to your Uranus. And so, I would expect some kind of big shift coming. This is not just today. This energy is affecting the whole month and leading up to the Uranus turning direct on January the 2nd, conjunct your own Uranus. I mean, aspecting your own Uranus, not conjunct it. I would expect some changes in some groups, organizations, friends, possibly, connected with even the internet and things. Some shifts in that could be quite sudden, but awakening kind of energy. So you've got that coming for you, really. And then, of course, Saturn, this is moving ahead perhaps more than I should do, but I'm going to say anyway, because it's approaching it. Saturn going into Capricorn is going to really be a major period for you. So we'll probably talk more about that this afternoon, because it's going into your 4th house of the home. It's going to pass all your planets in the next couple of years. So we'll look. I think that's probably where we'll be spending all our time. So I'm not going to do that here. So, yeah. So that was you, Yasmin, and that was at about 11:06, so about 66 minutes in. Now to go to Paula at 68 minutes. Paula, my friend. So you're this Saturn Mercury conjunction on the galactic center is actually conjunct your Pallas Athena and opposing your Lilith. Oh, 2 goddess energies being very much triggered. I think, and in your 6th and 12th houses, I think you are going to have some major shifts in your work coming. But in your kind of connection with the unconscious kind of work, using more kind of your incredible basically psychic abilities. I see that really shifting and deepening. It's also squaring your Pluto, which brings in this depth of transformation. This is pretty major for you too, especially because Saturn is your ruling planet, because you have Capricorn rising. So anything Saturn's doing in your chart is very important. So, look over the next month for messages that I know you're always doing. You're always very aware of what kind of messages the universe is sending you. But I think there's going to be some pretty major shifts. And about Lilith, we've been looking at Lilith in my Planetary Magic level 1 class, and she is where you're too much, where you've always been too much in your life. And I know that's been a bit of a theme for you. So it's time for you to really own your too muchness, if that makes sense. I hope it does. Oh, and it's 11:11. Woo! As I say that, own your too muchness, Paula. Time to do that. Okay. So, Sakara, let's look at you at 71 minutes at 11:11. So this is all opposing your moon in Gemini. And it is aspecting your Uranus too. By not a square, but a sextile, so a 60-degree aspect. So it's still aspecting it. And of course, Uranus station in January is going to be exactly opposite. You're kind of having your Uranus opposition, which is kind of a time of major change and shift in a lot of people's lives. It's a cycle we all go through. So you are going through some major changes, my dear. And again, for you, though, this Saturn Mercury galactic center conjunction, this is affecting your work and your mediumship abilities, which you know you have too. So, and your voice. So I could see you even starting to do channeled messages or something even more. So there's a big possibility of that. So there we go. So I'm going to move on to Lynn at 73 minutes. Let me go and get your chart up, Lynn. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, Lynn. Of course, you've got a birthday coming up too. Another Saggy. Woohoo! There's quite a few of us in here. But that Saturn galactic center Mercury conjunction doesn't seem to be affecting you as much. It's not actually, you don't have much around those degrees. I'm not going to count Sedna because that's kind of a more collective thing because it's so slow moving. So I think you've got a really kind of a quiet month. Let's look at the 24 degrees of Aries for you. Again, pretty quiet month for you. No major shifts. The Mars opposing Uranus. Again, no, I'm not seeing anything major. No house cusps, no nothing. That doesn't mean nothing's happening in your life, of course, but you are one of the few that's not going to be having some major transformations and things. Okay. Kind of the focus, of course, with your Sagittarius being in here is on your relationships for this Sagittarius season, just generally. And you're probably feeling that already. But and you know, by relationships, I mean all significant relationships, not just necessarily, you know, love relationships. But I will say that you do have Jupiter coming into your 7th house at some point next in the spring. So that could be real expansion in your relationships. Due and Jupiter enters these houses, you know, often new relationships come along, shall we say. Cool. So let me see who's next. Heidi. Heidi is at 75 minutes. Okay. Just looking whether it is in Sagittarius. Okay. Now it's aspecting your Pallas Athena in your ninth house. And I know that you are going to be probably just going to become a digital nomad and traveling the world. That doesn't surprise me that that is coming for you. And possibly when Uranus stations direct on January the 2nd, I know we're moving ahead again, but it's kind of all that energy starting now because of this Saturn galactic center Mercury thing. This Mercury retrograde might be quite interesting for you because it's aspecting that area of your chart, the ninth, which is ruled by Sagittarius. So I see kind of movement, travel, opening up of possibilities, expansion for you. I see that coming. Just looking if it's all aspecting something else exactly. The Mercury station is exactly squaring your Jupiter in Virgo in your second house. So this is kind of your self-esteem kind of going through the roof, especially around your work, and possibly also money, bringing in some much needed moolah in your business growth. So I hope that's good for you. Angela at 77 minutes. You know, I discovered that oh, okay, that one's gone. Okay, so I need this one. Oh, why is your files not opening, Angela? You're probably up nearer the top. I might have to come back to you, Angela, because I think I've got to go into a different space to open yours. I know, yeah, but they're not opening. It's refusing to open. So for some reason. So I may have to go and dig. It's fine. I've got it in somewhere else. I'm just going to go back to that at the end. So they're not opening directly from Acrobat Reader, but that's okay. So Bonnie Kilgannon at 79. We'll take Angela off that list for now and come back to you. There you go. There you go, Bonnie. Okay. All right. Well, it's not conjunct your ascendant, but it's very at the start of your first house. All this Saturn got so you're having a big shift in kind of who you show up as in the world, kind of the I am energy. A lot of change and growth in that area. The Mercury retrograde is going to retrograde over your ascendant and back over it again, which is going to perhaps I wouldn't be surprised if somebody from your past comes that kind of shifts the direction of your life during this Mercury retrograde in this month. Let me look at the Aries energy. There's not a lot around there. It's all focused on your ascendant right now. Okay, Bonnie. So, you know, I know you've had to make adjustments because of your health. and things, but I kind of see it as perhaps also something new coming in that area that kind of changes and helps you kind of heal and expand. So, Jennifer is at 80. Oh, weird. Yours isn't opening as well, but you're also in the other file, so we'll go back to you. So let's take that one off for now, and we'll go to Trish. There's Trish. Oh, it's all opposite your Vesta. Vesta's focus and commitment, and it's all on the 3rd and 9th house axis on that line that starts the 3rd and the 9th house. So, and your Vesta's in Gemini, so they're kind of flipped. So Gemini actually rules this house and Sagittarius rules this house. So you've kind of got this mutual reception going on. And I know things are going really well for you work-wise and things, Trish. And I think there's going to be some big expansion in that area. And perhaps involves a degree of teaching. I don't know exactly what's happening in your... I just know there's been some good movement. I don't actually, have time to follow everybody's profiles really closely. But is some teaching element coming into your work in a bigger way? That feels like you're kind of really being able to show your expertise and show perhaps some new knowledge and things that is really yours. And that's pretty exciting how that's kind of expanding. And then Uranus is over here on your Mercury, so that's kind of adding to the so your Mercury is actually aspecting the Saturn galactic center Mercury conjunction and the Mercury retrograde, and so that's adding, I think, to this kind of speaking, teaching energy in a big way. So whatever's coming up, that's really good. You're definitely on the way. Sorry, I didn't write your time down, so I'm writing it now. I think you're up to about 81. So yeah, it's all about really your voice, teaching, lecturing, speaking, giving out more information, perhaps writing. I don't think it's writing though, but I think there's a big focus in that area, and it's very expansive. And Caro. Okay, let's look at you, Caro, at 84. Caro. Just looking around. This little conjunction isn't really affecting any of the planets in your chart, but it is pretty close. And I'm going to say, because it's such a big conjunction, the Saturn galactic center Mercury conjunction is close to your 2nd house, which is really good for your your career, your self-worth in your job. I think there's gonna, I know you just started the new role, really, and that's growth and expansion, I'm gonna say, in that area for you for sure. And let's just look where... And it's all aspecting Uranus, which is opposite your Mars. So this actually, I mentioned in the start of the call that we're having a Mars-Uranus opposition in about a week and a half or something. Anyway, that's really going to affect your Mars, and that's in groups and organizations. You know, again, it's all positive stuff for you, and Uranus is going to turn direct, opposing your Mars. So that's in your creativity, your drive in groups, sudden shift. It could be in your writing too. Definitely, you know, you've just got a lot of energy coming to get things done, to really kind of push forward and kind of do what you want to do. There's a lot of kind of that real inspiration and energy and drive and excitement kind of feeling, and then it's all kind of building up your self-esteem and your self-worth and your money probably as well. So that's all lovely. So Susan, you are 86. Susan, I miss you. I hope you know, come and leave a comment in the group sometime. I know you started work and that's probably why you can never be on the calls, but I do miss you in the group. So just say hi. So let's have a look at the Sagittarius energy for you. It's all in your third house, so you know, around your voice and siblings kind of thing too, that kind of energy. But otherwise, I'm not seeing anything majorly aspecting for you. Oh, except the square to all the Sun and your Mars in your 12th house. But so you're kind of getting organized. I'm going to say your life is really getting more structured, organized. The details, all that Virgo-y stuff is being is kind of a focus. It just feels like your life has really kind of, after quite a period of being unsettled and things, it just feels like it's really getting very together is a good word for it. So yeah, so that's for you, Susan. Right then, I've got to go and find Jennifer and Angela. Hang on a second, I just need to go to a file for those. Bear with me. Just got to find my planetary magic file for the class. It must be under client charts. See, I thought I had them already because in that bit, but Mercury retrograde shadow. It's all good. Oh my God, I can't find them. So I'm going to go the old way and search. Just use the search function, Louise. There you go. One copy of your chart anyway, Angela. So Angela, you are at 89 minutes, I think. Is that right? Yes. Yes, please. I'm nearly done. But yeah. Okay, so just ask husband, asking if oh my goodness, Angela. Of course, you've got your birthday coming up too. Another lovely Saggy. And all this gold, all this stuff is right on your sun. That's huge, kind of thing. It's as huge as it is on being on my ascendant. I think it's going to be massive expansion and growth in all areas of second house matters. So, self-esteem, self-worth, money, that's pretty massive. And then Uranus is over here opposing your Mars too. So you've got all this massive energy and drive as well. This is going to be a huge time of growth for you personally. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything in the house move department. That doesn't mean it won't happen, but that's not the focus for you this month, at least, coming up. But it feels, with this kind of energy, with the Mars opposing the Uranus, it feels very expansive, very energetic. You probably have more energy than you've had for a long time. And I don't normally say that for Saturn on the Sun, because sometimes Saturn on the Sun can be a bit depressing. But with this all taking place with the Mercury station and the galactic center, some of it might feel like, not easeful, kind of not, but it's kind of work, hard work. So yeah, you've got that coming up. So yay, awesome. And last not least, Jennifer at 92. I don't know why your charts wouldn't open the old way, but never mind, it's fine. I've got them. So this is all in your first house. It's not conjunct any planets, but it is aspecting your Lilith. So yes, I said it was Paula, I think I said it too. It's a bit less strong than Paula's was, but there is a definite energy of, where you've been told you're too much all your life, or where you felt you're too much, of kind of stepping into being that too much, if you like. For you, it's right. It's perhaps in the area of your work and your mission, really. You're kind of a bit afraid, it feels like, because of the Lilith thing, to be too out there and too much. But actually, this is what you're going to be asked to start doing, as much as you can with 2 little kids. But, just be too much, whatever it is you've been shamed for. Okay, right, everybody. I think I've covered everybody. We'll get it done. Thanks. Bye.
Good timing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.